But today I am going to tell you something more which we have to know. It's very important to know, because as was described by people, that they practice SahajaYoga as they go to church, but it's not from their heart. And heart is the abode of the spirit. It's the Shiva within us. So we have to know more about heart, and that is very important. You know about these three nadis we have, Ida, Pingala, Sushumna. But in the heart there are four nadis. And the one nadi goes to Muladhara. And if you cross the limits of Muladhara, it goes to hell. That's why they say that Shiva is a destroyer. Actually, you ask for your destruction. And when you ask for your destruction, you have it. Even if it destroys anything, as I was telling, it's like when a fruit has to come, the petals look as if they are destroyed. As I have destroyed, I would say, many of your things, you can call it like your conditionings, your ego, your racialism, your fanaticism, all this has been destroyed in SahajaYoga. This has to be destroyed for the beauty to come out. So when your maryadas cross beyond a certain point, you go to your destruction. In four directions there are destructions built, as there are four nadis. So now what is to be done? How are we to stop this destruction of through the first nadi going to hell? One of the qualities of Shiva is that his innocence. He is extremely innocent. He is innocent like a child. His innocence personified. So, we have to put our carnal desires, dissolve them into the innocence, the ocean of innocence. You have to dissolve it in the ocean of innocence. Innocence is something to be appreciated, to be understood, to be enjoyed. Like you see animals, they are innocent. You see children, they are innocent. Flowers, they are innocent. Divert your attention to all these things. You see, on walking on the street, what is there to see best? Is all at 3 feet height. You see at 3 feet height all the flowers, all the beautiful grass, all the children who are about 3 feet are the best. You need not see people who are above that. Just see on 3 feet level. You can see the legs of somebody, that's all right. But you don't see the eyes of a person who are not innocent. So dissolve this desire into innocence. And this Muladhara, which is innocent, is not dead, finished, but is innocent. It is righteous. It is Sri Ganesha's qualities. It's pure. So even if you are in this world, even if you are living like a human being, even if you have children, still you are innocent. The second nadi, the second channel that can take you to destruction is desire. That's why Buddha has said that desirelessness is the only way that people do not get old, nor sick, nor worried. Now this desire that we have, I want this, the West is much more than anywhere else, because the entrepreneurs are every day producing new things. Desires can be of any kind, not only material. The desires could be also quite mental. I must possess this woman, I must possess this child. All kinds of possessions that work into you as desires. I wouldn't say it is because of attachment. It's not attachment, but it is just to have more. Go on adding up things, getting things. Still, one doesn't feel happy and satisfied. What is the reason for this kind of desire? Is that it's not pure desire. It's an impure desire. It's an impure desire. And when such a desire starts working, you can go any far. Like Saddam Hussein, like Hitler, like anything is nothing but absolutely desire beyond any limitations. You want to dominate others. It's also another desire. All these desires lead you ultimately to a destruction. Because there's no joy, there's no happiness. For example, now I want to have a sari. So I want to buy a sari. All my attention will be, how will I get that sari? I must get that sari, this thing, that thing. The attention becomes polluted, disturbed. For a nonsensical thing like a sari, the attention which has to enjoy the spirit, which has to nourish the spirit, becomes disturbed because of desires. In the first place, the attention is disturbed because we are not innocent. In the second place, the attention gets into turmoil because we have desire. So what should we do as far as the desire is concerned? Desire for beautiful things. We can shift our desire material desire into aesthetics. I'll have one thing but which is really aesthetically rich. So whatever you desire, if you start working it out, desiring for something aesthetically handmade, nice thing. Gradually you will find you'll end up with vibrations, because all beautiful things have vibrations. And to have the vibrations, you'll have to go to pure desire. So this desire, which is madness, which makes you mad, which is so much dull and boring, becomes pure desire, because you have to dissolve all your desires into vibration. You start desiring nothing but vibrations after some. So if you have vibrations, that doesn't mean that they are something dry, see? No. It means the joy of bhakti. Bhakti is, you call it adoration, this, that. But it's the ocean of love that is God. You just get drenched into it. There's no words to it. And that is what, when you feel, you must know that you have taken the spirit as a real connection between you and your mother or your father. There's no differentiation. You are one in that ocean, drenched in the ocean. You are the drop, you are the ocean. You are one in that bhakti. And that bhakti cannot be mechanical, because not man-made. So to enjoy SahajaYoga, you must know that it's not dry vibrations only, but it's the bhakti. That is the joy of Shiva's quality of joy that he adds to our life. Everything seems to be surrounded, resounding, same thing, the joy. That I am loved so much by God, that God loves me, that I have a meaning in life, then the ego drops out, first of all. And also the conditionings drop out. Now the third nadi is the nadi by which we feel attached to someone. Like, this is my child, this is my husband, this is my family, this is my wife, this is my father, this is my mother. In the beginning of SahajaYoga, of everyone, when they are just the beginners, so they talk about their whole family. My father is like this, my mother is sick, my mother's sisters, brothers, this, that, this thing is not well. As if, you see, we all have taken a contract. What should I do? So now this so-called limited love What is the solution which takes you to destruction? Is the unlimited love. Because Shiva is nothing but love. He is love. Love is that corrects, that nourishes, that wants your benevolence. That's what Shiva is. It wants your benevolence. It looks after your benevolence. So when you are looking after the benevolence of others with love, then the whole life changes. The whole pattern changes. And you really enjoy it because you become one with so many, concerned with so many families, so many things, so many problems of others and us. So you just feel you are one with so many. All this is the most enjoyable thing. I mean, why all this is for there? After all, think about yourself. Why am I here? I am here to enjoy everyone, everyone. They are all realized souls, such beautiful lotuses. I am not going to stoop down to the mud. Now I am a lotus. That is the way you open the heart. The lotus of your heart. And the fragrance of such a person is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So you are no more divisive. You do not want to separate from each other. Anywhere is done, you are agreeable to that. You don't think that it should be done here or there or there. But anywhere, but should be. All of us together. So, the small attachments that are with you have to be dissolved into this ocean of love, which is Shiva. Fourth one is the most important for all of us, is to know that there is a nadi which passes through left Vishuddhi into the heart, starts from the heart, goes up, passes through Agya. It has 4 petals and opens up. This is the one which gives you the state which is called as Turiya. We live in 3 states. In the awakened state, Jagruti, our attention goes to this, that and all that. We spoil our attention. But the second one is the one, what we call, is that we sleep. When we sleep also, all these things that have happened come to us from our past and things like that. But then we go to the deeper sleep called as Sushupti. It's a state where you have deep sleep and you dream of something that is reality also. You may dream about me. Like it's the ethereal part of the subconscious where some beautiful informations are passed out. Supposing I come, say, to Italy. Italians might know in their Sushupti that I've come here, or maybe anybody might know, depends on. But the 4th state is called as Turiya. There are 2 more states. You are in a Turiya state, is the 4th state. Turiya means 4th. fourth state is where that you are in a thoughtless awareness state. When there is no thought, just think of it. When there is no thought, you have to be innocent. When there is no thought, you have to have vibrations. When there is no thought, you cannot be attached to anyone. So into that thoughtless state you have come now as a Turiyadisthiti. And in this state, when you are, these four petals which are within you have to open out in your brain. They come from your heart to your brain. And that is when you absolutely understand what is God. Absolutely know what is God is. That is the time when one receives the real knowledge. But unless and until these four petals open, one may fall back. And that's why some of the Sahajayogis who are still meddling with things which they should not do, go down. And they don't understand what is God is. But it's not the understanding, you understand this one little point, that it comes from your heart into your brain, not from your brain to your heart. It comes as if the ambrosia of your bhakti covers your brain. Absolutely. I wish you all to achieve that state. May God bless you.